guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and in this video we are going to be continuing our grading of round 1 of the 2020 NFL Draft, this time with picks 9 through 16.
Yeah, we just posted a video not too long ago, picks 1 through 8, so go check that one out. And without further ado, let's go to the right side of the table for you guys. Jordan, start us off, pick number 9.
Alright, so we finished off on the Cardinals last time. That was Isaiah Simmons, so we're on to pick 9. In this video, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. There are a few different ways that they could have gone with offensive tackle Jedrick Wills still on the board. They could have gone that way to try to help out whoever's going to be their quarterback in the future or now. But they chose to go with the cornerback out of Florida, who I like a lot, C.J. Henderson, to fill the void they lost in Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye.
So what do you think? What would you grade it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part of this video. So I would say, since Jedrick Wills was still on the board, it was kind of hard to make a decision, but I actually was pretty high in C.J. Henderson. I probably had Wills higher on my big board, although it would be close. So I'm just going to give this pick a flat A. I think Henderson's going to be good, and they desperately needed that corner position. Maybe could have addressed it in the second round, which could make the grade go a bit lower. But by the time their pick came around, there are a lot of good safeties, defensive backs off the board.
Ryan?
Yeah, and I look at this pick, and it does really fill a need, and Henderson was the best corner on the board, but it's probably not what I would have done. I would have probably gone CeeDee Lamb, to be honest with you, for Jacksonville, and I know that's a surprise, but I just think that offense could have used a big boost. But this is not a bad pick by any means. It fills a need. However, there were a lot of cornerbacks that fell maybe a little bit longer than we expect. You know, Trayvon Diggs, Christian Fulton slipping pretty far deep into the second round, so they probably could have addressed it later, but I still think that with the void in that secondary after losing Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye, they traded both of them in the past year. I think that they had to address the cornerback position, just a matter of when. They were high on Henderson. Henderson does a lot of things well. Tackling is concerned. I'm going to agree with Jordan and give it a straight A.
In the second round, by the way, they went with Shenault, so they did address that wide receiver position later, so they just wanted to get that defensive back out early, since this is such a deep class with the wide receivers.
Yeah, and didn't really expect them fully to go wide receiver here, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't mock C.J. Henderson going to the Jaguars, because now looking back on it, it seems like such a obvious pick for them to go, especially considering the circumstances they were in. You said it with Boye and Ramsey now gone, fixing that spot. But Jordan, you also said there's other holes they could have fit, but they waited until later in the draft.
They're just a very empty team right now after tank.
They got a lot of stuff to
tank for Trevor is already in motion for the Jaguars, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
1 year from today, or well, from the time we're making this,
that's true.
Draft.
All right, so I'm also going to give this pick an A, flat A, all across the table. Let's go back to the right side.
Yes, pick number 10. It is the Cleveland Browns, and they went with someone that we didn't all expect to still be on the board, but they went to a position that they did need. Even though they got Conklin in free agency, they still needed to fill another tackle void, so they took someone that a lot of people have ranked at their best tackle on the board, on their big board, I should say. They went Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. I think that's a perfect pick for them. On paper, the Browns are pretty much set. They just did need someone to help out Baker. And we've all heard the Browns hype train before, because it seems like it's going to be perfect for them. It seemed like it was going to be perfect for them last year as well. They have so many good players in the roster, you just have to put it together. But the offensive line is a very important part, and getting someone this good at pick number 10, I think is a great value for the Browns. I'm going to give them an A+. That's exactly what they should have done.
Yeah, and I think it was obvious that Cleveland was going to take an offensive lineman at this number 10 pick. That was probably one of the most sure bets of the draft. There aren't any sure bets in the draft ever. And it just came down to when, or not when, who they would take, because everyone knew it was going to be at that number 10 pick. And honestly, because of how closely these offensive linemen are and how hard they are to rank, I'm not going to hold anything against Cleveland for which offensive lineman they take. They addressed the position. They got their guy that they thought was the best available. Now they've addressed both sides of that offensive line in this offseason. One side via free agency, Jack Conklin, the other side via Wills in the draft. I'm going to be with you, Jordan, A+.
Yeah, they did what they had to do. It wasn't exactly the order of my rankings of the linemen, but it's so close. I've mentioned it many times on this channel. They addressed the position of need. I like Jedrick Wills as a player. we're going to go all across the table again. Another A+ for that pick to the Browns.
All right. Well, we just talked about a tackle. The Jets are up next. They went similar to what the Browns had. There was a need to get a wide receiver, which they got later in the draft, which is good for them since it's a deep class. And they got someone who a lot of people mocked, including I think all three of us, going to the Browns in Mekhi Becton. Is that correct? Did you guys all have Becton going to the Browns?
I did, yeah.
Did you, Tyler?
I don't know.
Well, either way, I know me and Ryan did. So they got him one pick later than I thought it was going to go to the Jets, which is good for the Jets. They do need some blocking help to help out Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell, and this that new offense that hopefully will get better this year. So I think it's a good pick for them, and I'm going to give it an A+.
Yeah, and I think that this was a really tough decision for the Jets to make. Do you go offensive lineman or do you go receiver? I know offensive line is a need, but I just feel like the Jets, they just need some excitement in that offense. You need a little oomph. Yes, the offensive line is important, but you can address that, later in the draft. But with CeeDee Lamb still on the board outside of the top 10, that's probably the direction I would have gone. Just because it's like that Jets offense, they need a little juice. You know, the Jets have kind of been, I'm going to say it, they haven't really been very relevant in a while. So I think for them to get back to the playoffs and to try and, be that new team in the AFC East, because everyone asking, okay, who's going to take control of the AFC East now? I think that they really have a lot of work to do. Mekhi Becton's still a great value pick. Really good offensive lineman, going to help protect Sam Darnold, so I'm not going to be very harsh. Just not quite what I would have done. I'm going to give him an A-.
And again, just coming down to it with the wide receivers of this class, sorry, Tyler, I'm burning on your time, but I just want to make this point that every team that's really going offensive tackle, not every team, but a lot of them could definitely use a wide receiver. With this class being so deep, they chose to get the tackle early since the tackle class is not that deep. And with the Jets, they actually got someone who
You're stealing my thunder.
I didn't put first round. I didn't make my first round grades or whatever. But if I were going to do it, I love the guy they got in the second round, Denzel Mims. I think he was a first round talent to me. I loved what I saw from him on film. So I think that was a good draft for them, at least with their first two picks. I don't remember where they went after that, but I just like the order of going tackle and then with a deep class taking wide receiver. That's why I had mine so high.
Yeah, my thunder was stolen by Jordan. He basically said everything I wanted to say. None of you guys mentioned Denzel Mims. I was excited to come in and say that. But I mocked CD to the Jets. But as we got closer to the draft, about maybe 5 days before it, after my final mock was released, I started to think, hey, maybe the Jets do need to go offensive lineman. And with Becton still on the board, I see it as perfectly fine for them taking them. I think that's the right decision, especially since they got Mims in the second round. Another A+ for me.
All right, fair enough. This next one could have a bit of controversy. Ryan was talking about how CeeDee Lamb was still on the board for the Jets at 11. Well, he's still on the board here. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. They chose to go receiver, but they went a different route than the Lamb route. They went the Henry Ruggs route out of Alabama with Jerry Jeudy also still on the board. So they opted for speed instead of maybe that route running savvy or that run after catch, even though Ruggs does have a good run after catch. But he is extremely fast. It's kind of just a Raiders pick. They want the speed on their roster. So I think they went the right position. I had Lamb and Jeudy over Ruggs on my big board. So I'd say for that, I'd give them a B. I'll just go B. 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 Red B emoji.
Is it the red B?
Yeah.
The red B emoji, yes. So I had not one, not two, three receivers above Henry Ruggs in my wide receiver rankings, and I know the Raiders, I knew this pick was going to be a receiver, and I think we all mocked it that way, I'm pretty sure, here at 12. Yep. But this is just, you got to look at the whole thing that makes receivers good. You can't just say, oh, he ran a 4.27. That's one thing. There's so many other aspects you have to look at. Yeah, Henry Ruggs is fast, but I look at there's receivers that run better routes in this draft. There's receivers that have better hands. And I think, I almost did at Las Vegas, needs a true number one wide receiver. And I think that what sets CeeDee Lamb apart from the rest of the pack in this wide receiver class, that he has so much experience being a true number one receiver in an elite offense. I thought that was a perfect fit. I was shocked that CeeDee Lamb fell past out of the top 10 and past the Jets. So I think Vegas should have pounced on CeeDee Lamb. But they're very unpredictable. I think that there were more complete receivers on the board, and Henry Ruggs, he's fast, but can he be a true number one wide receiver that can run a lot of routes and make those contested catches? Because that's something he didn't really show a lot of in college. Contested catches, he was more of a speed guy, but addressed a position of need. But again, three better options in my opinion for me were there, so I'm gonna go B minus.
Yeah, I see your point on that for sure. I think Henry Ruggs could definitely be a solid number 2 receiver for a team. But with this Raiders team, it seemed like they needed some speed on their roster. They wanted some more. And they added that. And I can respect the position they went and the idea that they have of speed. But to me, I'm with you, Ryan. There were 3 wide receivers ahead of Ruggs. It was close in some departments of it. They decided to go with my 4th-ranked receiver, Henry Ruggs. So many good receivers, I'm not trying to say he's bad. He'll make a good impact on this team, but better receivers on the board. I'm going to give it a B+.
And then just one more quick note to make about that pick with them is that they're playing a division with a speedster in Tyreek Hill, so they want to get something to match
Fight
that
fire
team.
with fire.
Exactly, and so the thing with Ruggs is maybe he'll be somewhat of a bust going in front of all these wide receivers, but who knows, maybe he'll have that Tyreek Hill role with the Raiders. It's a gamble that they took, but the Raiders, well, they always like to take gambles and they go ways we don't expect them to. So that's just the Raiders and the Seahawks. So we'll get to the Seahawks in a later video and we'll have fun with that one. Let's move on to pick 13. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who traded up with the 49ers. A good move by both sides. I know Tyler loves it, so I'll let him talk a little bit about that unless Ryan wants to steal his thunder. But anyways, there was a trade. So the Buccaneers traded up with Tristan Wirfs still on the board. They trade up to get Tristan Wirfs. I think it's a great pick. Buccaneers need to get a tackle to protect Tom Brady, who is getting older and he's not mobile in the first place. So A+ for me. I love the move to move up one spot, get your guy, and then we'll talk about the 49ers next, or maybe Tyler will talk about it when we get to him.
Yeah, and this pick was the first trade of the night when teams finally figured out where the trade button was.
Yeah.
And I think that it was very important that Tampa, as you said, protects Tom Brady. He's going to be 43 the next time he plays a football game. I know there's a lot of hype around the Bucs, but Tom Brady is well past his prime. And I'm not saying that as a hater. I think he's the GOAT. It's just a natural fact. But I think that you look at what Tampa decided to do. They said, we need to make sure we get one of these top 4 tackles because offensive line is probably the one spot missing on our offense, or at least the most prominent need on our offense. And I thought it was very impressive that they were able to manage to get Tristan Wirfs, who a lot of people had going in the top 10 at that 13 pick. I'm not going to quite go A+ because there's always the chance that he would have been there at 14 anyway, but I'll still give him an A because they went up and made sure they got one of the big 4 offensive tackles.
Yeah, I like the move to go up. They didn't know if the 49ers were going to take him or not. I'm sure the 49ers were deciding between Wirfs or Kinlaw. They eventually went Kinlaw, spoiler alert. But I like the moves. I had Tristan Wirfs as my number 1 ranked tackle. I think that's a great pickup for them, but I don't know if the trade was necessary. I think the 49ers were taking Kinlaw anyways, but they wanted to make sure they got their guy. But with that trade, I'm going to be with Ryan, give it an A, not necessarily an A+, because they probably could have got him at 14, but who knows.
All right, well, next up is the team that made the trade with the team we just talked about. If you were listening, you know it is the 49ers, who Tyler spoiled before, did take the defensive tackle out of South Carolina, Javon Kinlaw. Like you said, we don't know what they would have done if they had kept the pick number 13. But a smart move for them to trade one spot back to get a great player to help out their defense after losing to Forrest Buckner. I talked about it. If you count Buckner on your team, of course he's a great player, but he was in for a big contract soon. And with a lot of stars on that defense, you want to make sure you can pay people a lot of money. So you get a rookie that you can put on a 5-year deal, and I think he'll do a lot for them. Also, they used the pick that they got from the Buccaneers to make another trade later in the draft, which also helped them out in some ways. So I give it an A+ for them on this one.
Yeah, and San Francisco, they were able to get the guy that they were maybe going to take at 13, if not still a guy that was definitely in consideration and definitely a top half of the first round talent for sure, replaces DeForest Buckner. And, San Francisco, they were kind of low on draft capital outside of the first round. So I think even though it's only a fourth round pick that they got, as you said, it was good for them to move back, get a little more draft ammunition that, as you mentioned, Jordan, they'd use later, and get their guy Kinlaw, who some see as a top 10, maybe even top 5 talent. I love the pick, A+.
Yeah, the trade aspect of this as well, them being able to trade back and still get their guy, a great replacement quickly for DeForest Buckner, not a lot of money. This was a great overall pick for the 49ers. I'm giving it an A+ as well. They had a great first round as well. What you think about the trade up later, we'll talk about that in a later video. But let's go on to the next pick.
Next pick, it is the Denver Broncos, and with this guy still on the board, I'm sure they were just sitting there salivating, waiting for him possibly to fall to them. This is a guy that I had number 1 in my wide receiver rankings, and it's Jerry Jeudy falling all the way to 15 to the Denver Broncos. Drew Lock is locked and loaded with all these weapons he's got around him now. I think Jeudy's a phenomenal player, a phenomenal route runner, and is really going to help out this Broncos offense that has been somewhat slow. Their defense has always been somewhat good, and they have a great defensive coordinator head coach in Vic Fangio. I said defensive coordinator because when he was with Chicago, we are fans of, me and Tyler, Ryan not so much. He was a defensive coordinator. Anyways, that's irrelevant. So with Jeudy still on the board, that's the exact right pick that they should have gone. Also, C.J. Henderson gone, which is a way they could have gone, but with how the cards fell, it played perfectly to them. I'm sure they were so happy to see this guy still there. A+ for the Broncos going Jerry Jeudy, especially for me because I had him number 1 on my wide receiver rankings.
Yeah, well, I had Jeudy number 2 in my wide receiver rankings, and CeeDee Lamb, who I had number 1, still there almost halfway through the first round. I was shocked to see that he fell this far, and to see Denver pass on him. You know, the gap between Lamb and Jeudy wasn't huge, but still, you know, you look almost halfway through that first round, as I mentioned. And the number 1 guy still there. I thought they should have gone CeeDee Lamb, but Jeudy not far behind. They still get an A.
I just like to mention how I lost $1 on this pick, by the way. So
No.
Oh yeah,
it's still gonna stay in the
controversially.
Yeah, I should get it back.
No. But I'm with Ryan on this one. I had CeeDee Lamb above Jerry Jeudy by a sliver. That would have been the pick I would have gone with the receiver being here. Once again, this is another situation. Fight fire with fire in this AFC West division, and that's what the Broncos have done in the first and second round. They got 2 of my top 5 receivers. The Broncos did, and that's a great draft, but it wasn't CeeDee Lamb. They could have got my number 1 receiver. They didn't. Love the pick, but I cannot give it an A+. I'm just going to give it an A.
All right, fair enough. Last pick of the day for this video. It is the Atlanta Falcons. They could have gone edge rusher Tyler Malcolm going Epinesa here, who actually fell very far to the Bills.
It wasn't AJ.
It was not. Yeah. It was not Epinesa, but it wasn't AJ.
Epinesa?
No, not Epinesa. That's for another video because we need to hurry this puppy up. But they did go in AJ. It's AJ Terrell. I still don't know, out of Clemson. Personally, I was not as high on him as a lot of people were. There's the struggles in the national championship game for him. But they definitely did need that cornerback position after losing Trufant to the Lions. So I think it's a pretty good pick for them. I didn't have Terrell ranked this high on my rankings, so for that I'll give him an A-.
All right.
Yeah, this is definitely a little bit of a reach, but, you know, it definitely also fills a need, and sometimes there's, you know, reaches that you have to do. You know, Terrell wasn't the best corner available, in my opinion, but the corners went pretty out of order after Okudah and Henderson as far as my rankings were concerned, because that's usually how it happens as you get to the second half of round 1, and especially in round 2. You know, who knows what happens once you get that far. But this definitely does fill a need. I think maybe you could have taken one of those edge rushers. You know, every edge rusher except for Chase Young was still available, so maybe you could get one of those there or trade down and take one of those guys. But, you know, still a pick that fills a need, but a little bit of a reach, so I'm going to not be too harsh. Even though they reached, I'm going to stay A-.
Yeah, you guys have really explained it well. Wouldn't have been where I'd go, but they filled the need, and I got to give them that. They did need to fill that position, and they did. Is A.J. Terrell the answer I would have gone with? No. And that's why I'm going to give it an A-. But I still like the idea that they're going with this team. I just don't know if Terrell's going to turn out the way they hope. for him to be. But hopefully for them, he does. Okay, so that is it. We've done picks 9 through 16 of the 2020 NFL Draft, giving you our grades on those. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, comment the grades for these players you think down below, or anything else that you would want to let us know. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.